I'm doing the next gen. Do-do-do. Yeah. Testing 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 3 4. Check it 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. All right, we're good to go. Yeah, this is the next gen presser. Should be starting shortly. All righty. Really? Interesting. I've never seen that on there before. Let me see and you can't
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hello, y'all. I'm Minister Dominic Alexander, president of the Next Generation Action Network. Yesterday, our nation witnessed unfold on a live video a tragedy that once again has exposed a crack in our democracy, the sickness of our political discord, and the ongoing danger of unchecked rhetoric. Charlie Kirk lost his life on a stage where his words, often divisive and inflammatory and dismissive pain of others, were interrupted by the act of violence. And while I will never endorse violence, I will also not participate in whitewashing a legacy that caused deep harm to marginalized communities. Let me be clear. Critiquing one's life in words is not celebrating death, it is telling the truth. Charlie Kirk consistently used his platform to belittle and struggle people of color to downplay the grief of parents who lost children to gun violence and undermine the movement for justice and equity. That truth must be acknowledged. Even now, especially now, this is not just about one man, it is about a dangerous pattern. What shook me more than the moment itself was what followed last night from the Oval Office. President Donald J. Trump addressing the nation, and instead of offering healing, reflection, or compassion, he used the moment to once again target so-called radical left. Rather than calming the storm, he poured gasoline on a fire that has already burning too hot. This moment should have called for unity, but what we got was political theater. This moment should have been calling for mourning, but what we got was political manipulation. This moment should have been about leadership, but what we got was division. As someone who has spent the last decade traveling this country, standing on the front lines of justice and organizing against police brutality, hate, and marching for equity and calling for accountability, I know the dangers of words. Words can inspire, words can heal, but words can also incite. Trump's speech wasn't just rhetoric. It was about a dog whistle that turns a siren. It placed black leaders like myself and many across this country in a more vulnerable position than we already in. We will not pretend this didn't happen. Vulnerable communities deserve the truth. Let me speak directly to black communities and brown communities, or even LGBTQIA family and immigrant brothers and sisters. This is not the time to be silent. What we witness is not isolated. This is a pattern. This is a pattern that minimizes pain of yet vulnerable people. It is a pattern rewriting the legacy of villains or victims. This pattern is using a moment of our nation in a political feud to divide and distract and destroy. We must name this pattern. We must confront it. We must reject it. Why I had to speak? I did not come to Mike today to throw stones. I came because leadership demands a presence in a moment like this. I came because I know what it feels like to be ignored in times of crisis. I came because I know that silence, especially from those who know better, is yet violence. I came because as a black man in America, I refuse to watch our people be gaslit into believing that we are imagining the danger we live in every single day. It's what's important that I speak today, not because of who died, But because our leaders chose to respond, because Trump's word put our community in great danger. And that is dangerous. It's dangerous we watch when a movement just like what we are under right now. It is dangerous rooted in the same philosophy that J. Edgar Hoover used to justify the yet intelligence probe that he put on the civil rights movement. Let me remind you the exact words of him. The greatest threat to the internal security of the United States is the rise of the Black Messiah. Those words wasn't just from the past. Those are the mindset alive today. In the policies, in the platforms, in the political speeches from the most powerful office of the land. I am not here to debate whether one man was right or wrong in all things. I am here to say that the stakes are too high. Otherwise, any longer, we are living in a time where political violence is no longer theater. It is happening. Communities are yet being under attack. The comments that we heard from the person who occupies the highest office of our country. Black people, we have saw this before. As a leader, I don't come today to yet ignite or yet put gasoline on an already lit situation. Of course, as a parent, as a person who family definitely loves, anybody losing their life due to their words or whatever is something that I stand against. But I cannot act like that Charlie Kirk's life yet attacked the inclusion that sometimes felt like me as a black man, I had no place at a certain table. That black women, because of their education, yet was some type of affirmative action. The reality is those are all true. And yet we can't use this moment to yet sugarcoat. But real conversations and real dialogue about race, bigotry, and yet the rise of white supremacy. And yet what we are seeing is the rise of yet Western colonialism and yet the mindset of our people. This is what has put black people and black leaders, bullseyes on our backs because of this type of rhetoric. I couldn't stay silent because yet, as I am standing and occupying being the president of the Next Generation Action Network, and every day we have some type of level of injustice that calls us to be able to stand up for what is right. I don't want to be labeled as yet a radical left. I want to be labeled as a person who has stood up for justice for all, no matter the race, color, creed, or sexual orientation. I don't want to be put in a box of a political box only for your own political gain and yet control. Lives and blood, these are real lives, creating real pain to families. This is not a game. People sitting on social media, posting and commenting. This is not a game. This is something we must take serious. History tells us we must take this serious. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be the person that's going to make it seem like that Mr. Kirk lived a life that yet fought for my inclusion. No, we know that. Do I condone what happened to him? No, I do not. I have used my life work standing up against that type of violence. But right now, what we heard from the person who occupies the highest office in our land is yet troubling. And yet, if a real conversation is to be had, a real plan of action is to be had, and as a person who yet believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I don't believe that my God is a God of hate. I don't believe that my God is a God of a lack of a compassion. I don't believe that my God would ever support a lack of inclusion. I don't believe that my God would yet promote a actual campaign that would dismantle diversity and equity and yet inclusion. I believe that Jesus Christ walk on earth was the first social justice movement of our world. His life embodied compassion. His life embodied what it means to love thy neighbor. You cannot love thy neighbor and yet spread hate. That is not of God. And while we hear a lot of naysayers and many manipulative games, the Next Generation Action Network will not stand by while our nation goes in flame to the highest peak. Our country has been here before. Most of us in this generation have not. Our ancestors have told us about this story. Some of us lived it. But right now, this moment is not to be ignorant. It is to be educated. It is to really understand what is currently going on in our country. Other than that, I will open it up for questions.
After this, do you have any concerns about your safety in regards to political violence?
I believe that today, the reason why I said I wanted to speak today is because we all fear forward. We can't be scared. But right now, of course, every day, the Next Generation Action Network, even myself, and many leaders throughout this country that look like me and don't look like me, that have the audacity to stand up for human and yet civil rights, are yet receiving, threats on multiple platforms that used to safeguard type of hate. Facebook, X, Instagram. There ain't even a filtration of the words. Every post I post online has someone literally threatening my life. It's not isolated, and I'm not going to sit here silent and act like it does not exist. I could literally be posting happy birthday to my mother and literally get a comment of a threat to my life. We all. But I think that people think this is isolated or something, or the things that are going on, that can't happen to you, that can't, and I'm not going to be naive like that. I'm not going to sit here and watch and act like that Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that I currently live in was not once the largest KKK population in this country. And that the fact that a lot of hate comes from here. I believe when the FBI arrested the Oath Keeper leader here, it was in Plano, Texas. And so let's not act like this does not exist in our region, in our area. And when you have somebody in the highest office of the land, back in the 60s, J. Edgar Hoover was a very powerful man. He transcends presidents, very powerful. And when he said things, people listen and people take things in their hand. That's the reason why you look at the killer of the state legislatures in Minnesota, or whoever is the person who done this to Charlie Kirk. But to come and use the highest pulpit of the land and literally go before in the Oval Office, behind the Resolute desk, and yet you blame it on the radical left, and yet mainstream media saying we are at war? Who are you at war with? Not me. Who are you at war with? I'm trying to figure out. I don't, I'm sorry, but I don't see a bunch of black people at that rally yesterday. Who are you at war with? That word, yet set in the mind of so many people last night. I got so many disturbing calls from leaders across this country, just really sitting in. We are at war. We are at war. Social media, Fox News is saturated. We are at war. We are at war. Who are you at war with? Who? And then when the president says we're at war in the radical left, and yet blames this on transgenders and go after vulnerable communities, what do these people have to do with this? What? You should be waiting on your FBI to investigate this situation and be able to come to a conclusion. But yet, like I told somebody, when you feed that beast of hate, you have to keep on feeding it. You have to keep on feeding it, and then you have to give it an enemy all the time, or else it creates its own narrative. And when we have leaders that feed the beast, you can't let the people stray and come on with their own narrative because you cannot control it. And what we saw is the person who occupies the highest office of this land feed that beast of hate last night. Not calling a country to healing, unity, not actually respecting the whatever. You know, I might not have agreed with the political views of Charlie Kirk, but he was a human being. He was a person who lived. And I'm not the one that believed that someone's political views should be the reason that they should be assassinated. Even though there's probably not one thing that I agreed with him on. I didn't follow him. I didn't, listen to him. I do know that he continued to attack communities that look like me. I do know the facts. And so, with that being said, we have a problem in America. And that problem is yet the rise of white supremacy in this country. And I'm sorry, leaders like me, if we stay silent, we know the phrase, we know the quote, silence is violence. And I'm not going to stay silent. I'm not going to allow the people who I love to be hurt because of political rhetoric, because they have the audacity to stand up for what is right, and because a certain sector of people do not believe in their rights and yet will say that my words are expressing hate, and it's not. My words are of compassion, my words of unity. I want to get to a point of real, true racial reconciliation in this country. But that won't be because someone's words, that will become followed with actions when our laws, policies, when our way of life speaks inclusion. Any other question? So today, the Next Generation Action Network reaffirms our commitment to justice for all, no matter the race, the color, the creed, or the sexual orientation. We will not stand by while yet hate leads our conversation. We are standing together. This really hurts as a leader to see communities that I love yet be vulnerable, and yet be under attack by the person who occupies the highest office of this land. Some could disagree what I'm talking about today, but the truth is the truth, and the truth will always set us free. Thank you.